Hi, and welcome to Lori's Happy Stamps for Hello Spring, February 2025 Paper Pumpkin. Today I'm going to take a look at the 3 cards that are in the kit and then show you some alternatives that I hope you are going to enjoy. So the first card, Thanks for helping me grow, is this card, and I really didn't do anything different for it. I did cut the card base in half though, so that I could make 2 cards from each of the card bases. So this one has, the card base is mounted on a piece of basic beige, and then I added a piece of white inside and stamped it to go along with the front. But that is all I did for card number 1. And card number 2, I did exactly the same thing. I cut my card base in half, and this time I used Old Olive and mounted my half of my card on the front, and then built my front just like the front that they're showing here. And then on the inside, I used some of that patterned piece to just finish off the insert that I added, which is 4 by 5 1/4. So then my last card is, again, I did the same thing, doubling all of my card bases. So from 9 cards, I could make 18 cards. I cut this card base in half, and this time I mounted it on Lost Lagoon at 8.5 by 5 1/2 and scored at 4 1/4. And then I added my 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white on the inside and added a little stamp in there, and that's how I did the third card. So basically I could get 18 cards from the 9 cards. So then I started looking at what I could do, and I took my second card base from the middle card here, and I created 4 cards from that one, and they look like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I made them into Easter cards. So they say Hello Spring, and on the inside there's a little piece of designer series paper and some of the chives here, and then Happy Easter. And I did this so that I could create a bunch of envelopes. So first let me share with you the measurements for these 4 cards. So you need one of the card bases, cut 8 1 1/4 by 1 3/4, and cut 8 1 3/4 by 1 1/4. So basically you want 8 to have a horizontal orientation, and 8 that have a vertical orientation, because you're going to do 2 horizontal and 2 vertical. All right, then you need basic white or basic beige cardstock. You need 4 of those at 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. And I used the basic beige. Then you need some colored cardstock for the front here, and you need 4 by 5 1/4, and I used the lemon lime twist for that. And then you need 4 pieces that are 1 3/8 by 2 3/8. And those are for behind your sentiment. And then you need 16 of those 1 3/8 by 1 7/8. And those are the 4 that you will mount your bases on. And then your second cardstock, which I used the Old Olive here, is you need 4 of those at 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then of course you need some basic white for your sentiment, and it's 4 pieces of 2 1/4 by 1 1/4. So this makes 4 cards, okay? And they all look the same. Then I did use a liner that was 4 by 5 1/4, and I had a piece of designer series paper that was left over from the envelopes that I made, and I want to talk about the envelopes next. So I loved making these envelopes, and so you need a piece of designer series paper that is 9 1/2 by 8 1/2. On the 8 1/2 inch side, you score at 3/4 and 6 3/4. Then on the 9 1/2 inch side, you score at 2 1/4 and 6 3/4. You're simply going to trim off the corner rectangles on all 4 sides and then fold them in, glue the middle seam, and glue the bottom flap up. And this is what you get. So you get an envelope that looks like a seed packet, and it's just a little bit larger than the envelope that came with the kit, but it's still going to go through the mail just fine. And I just trimmed my corners by rounding my corners just with my scissors by hand, and I did that at the top and the bottom. So they're super easy to make and super fun. So I recommend making a bunch of seed packet envelopes. I think you'll get addicted to them like I did. I couldn't make enough of them, so I made several. And for my group that is on my Zoom, which we will meet the first Friday in March, which is, what, the 7th? Let me look real fast. Yeah, the 7th. We will be making the envelopes together, and I've given you a couple of sheets so that you could get started. But if you have more designer series paper and you want to make more envelopes, go ahead. The recipe is really easy. Like I said, you just need a designer series paper piece that is 9 1/2 by 8 1/2 on the 8 1/2 inch score at 3/4 and 6 3/4. On the 9 1/2 inch side, you're going to score at 2 1/4 and 6 3/4. Then you have a little rectangle in the bottom of all 4 corners. They're a little bit different sized, but cut those out and then just fold them in and flap it up. That's it. So enjoy making those envelopes. I wanted to show you also a long, we haven't done a, what do you call these? A slimline card in quite some time. And so I wanted to give you the measurements on a slimline card. To make this card, I used a piece of white that is 8 1/2 by 7 1/2, and on the 7 1/2 inch side score at 3 3/4. And that'll give you this slimline piece. And then for the outside here, I used an 8 1/4 by 3 1/2 inch piece that goes right in the front. And then I had a little 1/2 inch by 8 1/4 inch piece for the inside right here. And then I actually have 3, somewhere I have another one, of these that I made from the stamp set called Grow with Love. Grow with Love is the stamp set that is an online exclusive, and it goes perfectly with this set. So really, if you want more pieces for this particular paper pumpkin, instead of ordering a refill, I might look at the Grow with Love cling stamp set because it does all of the images that you would want that are in the paper pumpkin kit, and it's got some great dies that go with it. So anyway, that's my suggestion. Oh, here's the other one. So then I just stamped them twice with using the lemon lime and the Old Olive and the Lost Lagoon, just like the kit pieces, and I think they turned out great. So this is my slimline card. So hello spring. And then, you know, we have these old envelopes that Stampin' Up! Used to sell. And so I found some in my stash, and it's like, oh, those are perfect. And they even match. So that's how to make a slimline card. And again, that measurement to make the slimline card is 8.5 by 7.5, and on the 7.5-inch side, score at 3 3/4, and then you've got your piece. And then your front piece of designer series paper is 8 1/4 by 3.5. So it fits right there. So then you can build your own slimline card. So my people, if you want to make a slimline card, you just need to have your paper ready to go. And you know, when I use basic white as a base, I always use the thick basic white. So here are 4 more cards that I made, and then I made the envelopes to go with them and added some designer series paper on the inside. I think they're so cute, and I wanted to share with you an idea. And for my Zoom people, again, you have this template that I sent to you. And if you don't have a template, you could just make your own. But then I used that to use my blending brush and just do the background, and then I stamped over it. And I used that on several of my envelopes as well. So, but Hello Spring, isn't that a cute card? I just think those are so cute and very simple. So then I just used the pattern that went around the edge, and I cut my own, what is this called? Bubble bath pieces as the others, as I used up all the others in the kit. And this piece cut out like this with the little teeth in it is one of the dies in the Grow with Love die set, the bundle that's going on right now. So again, I highly recommend that. So those are those cards. And then I wanted to share with you, if you're interested in making note cards, you need pieces of basic white that are 7 by 4 7/8, and on the 7-inch side you're going to score at 3.5, and that gives you a note card size that fits in the note card envelopes. And then I just again made it a very simple. I used the blending brush and my template, then I double stamped the chives, and then I stamped Sending Love on a circle, and Then I added some gems, which are the gems from the purple adhesive backed sequins that have been in the free for celebration. So then they're plain on the inside, so you can make them as thank you cards, as Easter cards, as birthday cards, anything you want. And this size does go through the mail. So there you have it. It's a quick little down and dirty what we're doing with Paper Pumpkin, and I will see my group on March 7th on Zoom at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Have a great evening.